Melody Shari, the woman who turned heartbreak into a brand, turned challenges into opportunities, and is now sitting at the top of her game. And trust me, once you hear what she's been saying in her latest interviews, you'll understand exactly why fans call her the blueprint. Let's start with the obvious. Melody Shari is winning. Not just on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, but in real life. She's been traveling, hosting events, growing her businesses, and most recently, she was recognized with the 100 Global Women Icon Award by Women of Wealth magazine. That's not just a title, it's proof that she's moved far beyond reality TV drama into real-world influence. Now, in her interviews, Melody has been very clear about one thing. Her success didn't come easy. She's talked about how she had to fight through betrayal, public humiliation, and rebuilding her life after divorce. But instead of letting that define her, she used it as fuel. She says, when people count you out, you get to decide whether you'll prove them wrong or let them be right. That mindset alone is why fans connect with her so much. And let's not forget her music. Melody took her pain and turned it into art. Her songs became anthems for women who've gone through the same struggles, reminding them that they can come out stronger too. In one interview, she mentioned how she never planned to release music, but once she started writing, it became therapy. And look where it's taken her, charting, streaming, and building yet another lane of success. But here's the part I love. Melody doesn't just focus on herself. In her interviews, she always talks about her kids, about legacy, and about making sure they see a strong example of what it means to overcome adversity. She said that her biggest win isn't the awards, the recognition, or the spotlight tits, showing her children that no matter what life throws at you, you can rise. That's powerful. And fans can't help but compare her journey to Martell's, while Melody is climbing higher, receiving honors and building generational wealth. Martell is still tied up in drama, rumors, and unfinished business. Even in interviews where Melody is asked about her ex, she never stoops low. She stays focused, graceful, and keeps the spotlight on her growth, not the mess. That's why people respect her. She doesn't just talk success, she walks it. Here's another point her interviews highlight. Melody is very intentional about protecting her peace. She's mentioned that not everyone deserves access to her energy and that she's learned the power of saying no. That's a big shift from her earlier years on the show, where she was constantly defending herself, explaining herself, and battling people's opinions. Today, she's in control of her narrative. And that's exactly why brands, magazines, and organizations are reaching out to her, because she represents strength, resilience, and class. Now here's the kicker. Melody has also been open about what's next. In her most recent interviews, she hinted at more business ventures, more collaborations, and continuing to expand beyond Huntsville. She's not just thinking local, she's thinking global. And with every step, she's proving that being on a reality show doesn't define you, you define yourself. So when fans call Melody Shari the blueprint, it's not just about the globe. It's about the way she's rewritten her story, turned pain into profit, and showed women everywhere that you can survive betrayal and still thrive. She's living proof that success is the best revenge. Let me paint a picture for you, and I want you to really imagine this moment, because it's bigger than just a sentence, a story of resilience, strategy, and legacy in motion. Imagine standing backstage at New York Fashion Week, not as a spectator, not just snapping photos or dreaming of what it might feel like to be a part of something so massive, but as someone whose name is on the banners, whose beauty brand is on the models, and whose daughter's tennis line is being walked proudly down the runway. That's exactly where Melody Shari found herself. And this wasn't luck. This wasn't just a stroke of chance. This was years of sacrifice, resilience, smart choices, and a level of execution that many people only talk about but never actually achieve. She didn't just show up at New York Fashion Week, she owned it. And if you think that's impressive, wait until you see how deep this story really goes. Because by the end of this video, you're going to understand why. Melody isn't just building a career, she's building a legacy. So stay locked in and watch all the way until the very end. Because every detail matters in understanding why Melody Shari is in a league of her own. Now, let's be honest, while others on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, have been tangled up in drama, fights, distractions, and endless cycles of the same arguments, Melody has been quietly but powerfully putting in work. She has been on a completely different grind. While Martell Holt, Letitia Scott, Marsa Scott, Destiny Payton, Miss Wanda, and even Stormy Steele have found themselves in one mess after another on-screen and off-screen, Melody has been laser-focused. Her brand, 7th Avenue Beauty, didn't just sneak into New York Fashion Week for a small, quiet feature. No, it was spotlighted. It was featured. Her products were backstage, helping models glow under the bright lights of one of the biggest fashion stages in the world. Her athleisure line wasn't ignored, it was catching stares. And then came the cherry on top, the moment that really made people stop and say, wow. 13-year-old Mariah's tennis line made its debut, and it didn't just blend in. It looked like it belonged, like it was meant to be there all along. Now let that sink in. A 13-year-old making waves at New York Fashion Week. That's not just a proud mom moment, though it absolutely is. That is generational success playing out right in front of our eyes. Melody once promised that she would knock down doors so her kids could walk through them, and she meant it. Today, Mariah's name is being spoken in rooms that grown adults can only dream of entering. That is not just parenting. That is vision, execution, and a commitment to legacy. But here's the thing, and this is where I need you to stick with me. Because when you understand what Melody went through to get to this place, you'll respect it even more. Melody didn't start with a silver spoon. She didn't start with a clean slate. She went through the fire publicly. Her divorce from Martell Holt was messy, loud, humiliating. And the type of situation that would have broken most people down to pieces. We all saw it play out on national television. We all watched as Martell's infidelity, his lies, his choices with Ariane Curry spilled into every corner of her life. But instead of crumbling, instead of letting that storm destroy her, Melody expanded. She took that pain and instead of letting it define her, she used it to fuel her. And that energy turned into one of the most loyal, passionate fan bases in the game. People don't just watch Melody, they ride for her. They support her. They celebrate every single win because they know how hard she fought to get here. Now, let's talk about the contrast because it's impossible to ignore. While Melody was celebrating behind the scenes at New York Fashion Week, Martell Holt was once again popping up in headlines for all the wrong reasons. It's almost like clockwork. Every time Melody takes a big step forward, there's some noise coming from Martell's direction. And honestly, fans have started to notice the pattern. Some say it feels intentional, like he tries to pull the spotlight back onto himself whenever Melody's star shines too bright. Whether it's failed business moves, messy relationships, or eyebrow-raising interviews. Martell's path looks more and more like a shadow of what Melody has already overcome. The difference between the two couldn't be clearer. Melody is rising, while Martell is stuck replaying the same tired storylines over and over again. And Melody's success isn't just public, it's deeply intentional. Take her private Facebook group, for example. Over 4,400 members and growing. That's not just a casual fan page. That's an ecosystem. That's a community where she connects directly with her supporters, shares exclusive updates, drops gems, and keeps her narrative in her own hands. No chaos, no mess, no noise, just focused energy and a space where people can support her without distractions. That's how you control your brand. That's how you make sure you're not just part of the conversation, you're leading it. And let's not forget her team. People like Canavius and Miss Deborah, who Melody calls her executive team for 7th Avenue Beauty. These aren't just assistants. These are people who help run the logistics, pack the orders, move the products, and keep things going smoothly behind the scenes. Melody highlights them, she reposts them, she uplifts them. That's not just business. That's culture building. That's making sure that everyone around her is a part of the bigger picture. It shows that she's not just stacking wins for herself, she's creating something that includes everyone around her. But what makes Melody's moves stand out even more is the heart behind them. Every single step she takes is loaded with intention. Whether she's hyping up her friend Shanita Foster's global feature, launching new soaps like the Rose and Peach Body Elixirs, or dropping surprise cruise giveaways during her TikTok lives, everything she does is purposeful, and her fans feel it. They know that every moment Melody creates is rooted in authenticity, not just clout. That's why people trust her. That's why they show up. And that's why they support her at levels that other cast members can only dream of. Now, let's get back to Mariah, because this moment deserves even more shine.